Okay, guys and girls, another Infinity Kingdom guide. This one's a bit different. We're not doing a build guide today or a passive review or on models or anything like that. Instead, we're going to talk about the nitty-gritties of the training grounds. I've seen a lot of discussion and got a lot of questions about what works in training grounds, what doesn't, what's the difference between a training ground battle and a real arena fight or SVS fight or fight in Norheim. Um, Everyone knows that something's not working, but what precisely is the limitations? Are the limitations? I went out and tried to figure that out. So for this guide, we're going to talk about training grounds, more specifically, what works and what doesn't work. I've asked a representative from Infinity Kingdom team to tell us precisely what works and what doesn't work, and this is basically what was said. So beginning with the Training Grounds 101, just to remind everyone what the heck we're on about. The Training Grounds are the thing that can be accessed through your arena building. Once you enter the training ground, you can configure and set up marches as you wish. You can use your own stuff, and by unlocking the trainer subscription, you can configure enemy teams with everything available in IK, not just the stuff you have yourself, and throw it against the best marches you can set yourself. Makes it for an interesting place to test things, but you will quickly realize that there's a few things that are quite different to real Infinity Kingdom combat. For one, you'll see that the Immortals have very low troop counts. If you see this picture, you got the top one is my main march inside of training grounds. I copied it in, and the bottom one is my main march, the exact same march outside of training ground. As you can see, I've got quite a few troops, a fair bit more troops outside of training grounds, which clearly states that something is not working, and indeed it isn't, because the development team has decided to put certain limitations on training grounds combat. These limitations are as follow. In the training grounds, it does not, technology does not work. So your entire academy technology tree is deactivated. You have no alliance buffs. The alliance technology that you've spent a year and a half on maxing doesn't work. You got no city buffs, so having mayor positions, having passive positions through alliance cities does not work. Your VIP boosts does not work, your honor boost does not work, and your combat buffs does not work. What that means is that fights you're creating or recreating in the training grounds are not really to be trusted, not entirely anyway. While it is a great place to test and set up teams for IB Prime League, which has similar limitations, it will never be truly representative of a real Infinity Kingdom fighting in Norheim, the arena, or in Legion of Frostborn. That doesn't mean that training grounds is pointless, but it does mean that you need to think about how these limitations affect the particular fight that you're trying to test. Let me give an example. Like trying to test out fire, you'll see that everything will be destroyed by the fire dragon if you set the breath to level 10. That's simply because the fire dragon's true breath is true damage, and that means it's set at a value scale for real fighting. Real fighting where we have troop counts more than double what we have in training ground. As such, the Dragon Breath set at level 10 is going to melt the enemy troop count more than around twice as hard as it should do, as this would be representative. So in order to make it a close to the real fight as possible, you want to set a Dragon Breath for around level 6 or level 7. Unfortunately, that means no testing the Dragon talent skills 2.4, which kind of suck. This logic also needs to be applied to everything else in the training grounds, like crit builds are another thing you can't test. At base crit values, you'll become near crit immune with just Malice equipped. That's impossible in a real fight. Like, let me show you. I set up a fire team. So basically, this is as much crit as you can possibly get. We've got William, we've got Trajan. They're equipped with unique artifacts. You got Rage on Xeon and Death Breath, and as you can see, even with all the crit buffs in the world, she has 56 hits with Death Breath and not a single critical hit. We are crit immune on the other, the March I made Fight This Fire simply by equipping Malice. That's impossible in the real world, but it is a limitation of the training grounds. The list goes on, but I kind of think you all get the point, right? The training ground is a great place to test things, but it's by no means a perfect representation of real Infinity Kingdom fights. It's a good tool for IB Prime League, less so for Legion of Frostborn setups. When you do use it, however, you should just be aware of the limitations and judge all results accordingly. Make adjustments, try and make things more representative, but never think that it's one-to-one. Personally, I do hope that the devs change how training grounds work. In my opinion, training grounds would work perfectly if we're either able to set everything at the level we want it to be, or if it simply took our own tech levels, VIP boosts, Lions buffs, etc., and just applied it equally to both sides. That would give an adequate or a close representation, or a precise representation of what it would be to actually have your own marches fight something at your own level. I'm afraid we're stuck with this limited version for now, but at least we're all aware. So best of luck. Think before you conclude anything, and have fun out there. As always, please do subscribe to the channel. I consistently release new content here on the IK channel and on the official IK Wiki website. Links are in the description. On these channels you can find guides from everything in IK, from events to talents, passives, finished builds and game mechanics. With that, I'm gonna leave you, and as always, thank you for watching and see you for the next one.